The Infinite Brain by Hugo Gernsback. This story by the legendary author only ever appeared in the June 1942 issue of Future Combined with Science Fiction magazine. Read by Darrell T. Smith II for my channel Quasar Spectra. The Infinite Brain. In its huge, vacuum-insulated globe, the infinite-dimensional brain had become restive. The ponderous globe, fashioned of shining transparentum, which from a distance appeared like a titanic soap bubble, contained 7 separate transparent shells. No one knew how the brain had fashioned them, nor knew how he kept them apart. He had let his subjects know that the impervious material was indestructible transparentum, and that between the layers there was a perfect vacuum. The brain himself, in his innermost sanctum, was kept alive and fed by cosmic energy surging constantly with incalculable and never-diminishing force through all of the universes. But at night, the ruler of the 98th universe, the infinite dimensional brain in his transparent vault, suspended high above the North Pole of the world 101 to the 20th degree, was indeed a never-to-be-forgotten sight. The ruler of his universe constantly was unleashing his titanic forces, which, sweeping through his vast realm, encompassing thousands of light years, kept law and order in myriads of worlds revolving about their thousands of far-distant suns. You could see and hear the monstrous forces unleashed from the brain's great globe, fixed motionless above the pole and radiating in every direction. Great coruscating streamers of light, serpentine-like, ever-changing in color and hue, burst from the surface of the outer layer of transparentum. Like an aurora borealis, only on a gargantuan scale, the pulsating colors blinded you if you came closer than a 10th diameter of world 101 to the 20th degree. Indeed, at a lesser distance you would be vaporized by the huge forces, even if you were composed of the basic material known as eternal rock. If your ether instruments were attuned to outer space, you could hear the staccato, pulsation-like, huge explosions that, never-ending, rose from a low crescendo to a rumbling super-bombardment that left you unnerved and numb. If you watched the brain, remote in the sky at the same instant, you could see the color radiations from the visible spectrum which, as indicated by the ether instruments, extended far into the region of the Ultra-X. In the latter case, you no longer needed eyes because your whole self lit up with the super radiation. You had become a receiving station attuned to the brain. Your whole body was itself radiating supercolors, softly in the fantastic light emanation, while you yourself now pulsated rhythmically in symphonies of color and invisible beams of Ultra-X. But that memorable night it was different. The brain was getting restive. This happened only rarely when there was great urgency in a far end of his universe. What happened? Only the brain knew. Normally it took a great many light years to transmit orders to distant worlds. The brain's energy consumed then was normal. When normalcy prevailed throughout his universe, it did not matter how long the transmission took. But as part of the brain was constantly revolving through all of the dimensions, time nor space had, of course, any meaning for the ruler. He was always in instantaneous touch with the remotest part of his universe, even if it was a million light years distant. It appears that the brain had glimpsed in the 42nd dimension that a super sun from another universe was heading for his own realm at terrific speed. Instantly, he calculated that the foreign sun, a supergiant, was destined to cut a wide swath through his own universe, destroying hundreds, if not thousands, of worlds in its path. The brain acted instantly. A silent order to his subjects sent them fleeing into the interior of their world. The science men, through their instruments, saw the brain's globe high in the heavens, motionless but terrible to behold. He was concentrating titanic amounts of energy into a certain direction of the sky. World 101 to the 20th degree trembled as if a giant was shaking it. Burst upon burst of ultra-X spectral color emanated from a single spot of the brain globe. It lit up the heavens in its ghastly, ghostly superlight, impossible to describe. It was dangerous to look at it for more than the merest second. This spectacular celestial display kept up for a long time. Then, as suddenly as it had started, the phenomenon stopped. Everything was peaceful once more, normal. The brain announced that he had given his universe an impulse which would rotate it 12 degrees upon its axis. 59,000 space years hence, the foreign sun, still pursuing its original course, would arrive where the infinite brain's universe would have been, but thanks to his foresight, would then be in another distant part of the heavens, safe. You've been listening to pre-1990s speculative fiction readings with a highlight on science fiction by Darrell T. Smith II. Please consider clicking the donation link in the description box. Thank you so much for your time and your imagination.